right, hello there. So, all of y'all who ran off or fell asleep during the peaty whiskey week can come on back because today we are doing rums again. And we're doing a little bit of a mixed bag. These are options which I'm super duper curious about, but I'm also pretty sure I will never be able to build like full flights in these styles. So they're all going here. We have got rums from 3 continents, 4 different producers, and I think we've got one, at least 1 or 2 cane juice ones, a cane syrup one, and a molasses one. So we're kind of spreading things out a little bit here, about as much as you possibly could. All right, so what have I got? I have got a cachaça from kind of southeastern Brazil. I have got something from Richland Rum, which is in Georgia, not the ex-Soviet bloc country, American Georgia. I've got 2 down islands. One is from Paraguay, and one is from Ghana. The Ghana is from a distillery, Mim, I've had before, so I'm super excited to try an aged version now. I'm going to pull up my notes. Okay, let's start. We're just going to go up by increasing strength because I don't know how else to do it. Which makes it interesting because these 2 down islands are actually both 62%. And, which do you pick to go for? Do you pick the column-distilled molasses one, or do you pick the pot-distilled cane juice one to go first? I don't know. I'm just going to go column-distilled first. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I haven't tasted these in advance. All right. We're going to start out with the cachaça. This is Nossa Cachaça from Pitangui. I'm not going to get that right, but we're going to move on in Brazil. So this is, I don't even remember where I got this sample from. It's single pot distilled cane juice, and it has been aged a minimum of 1 year and up to 3 years in cask. But it's Amburana cask. And it's large Amburana cask, but still, we're talking Amburana. I'm curious about this, but I'm also a little bit scared because my history with Amburana in general has been a bit iffy. I mean, my history with aged cachaça has been a little bit iffy. I'm always on the lookout for well-presented cachaça when I can find it. I just haven't found that many, and this one indeed is bottled at 40% minimum alcohol by volume, but hopes are high. Here we go. Oof. What? All right. Where to start with this? Okay, take some really ripe mangoes, right? Something like that. Super duper ripe mangoes. Maybe throw some peaches in there as well. Little touches of citrus, maybe a little lime, a little bit of Mirabelle plum, perhaps. I'm going to pile all this together. Super duper overripe fruit. Even a touch of pineapple, maybe. Quince, sure. You're going to pile all that together and then just cover it in cinnamon. And not cinnamon sugar. This is not sweet. Like, this is just straight up like aggressive cinnamon. And I mean, it's interesting. I'm not sure if it totally finds a balance there. There's little other things going on. There's maybe a touch of fennel. Just a little bit of minerality in there. Maybe not. I usually expect to find like sea salt or something. This isn't really that. This is more like, just a roadside rock. And yeah, tons of overripe, mostly tropical fruit, and tons of cinnamon. That's kind of what's on the table here. So fun nose, interesting nose. Not sure totally what to make of the nose. But for things at 40%, usually it's not the nose I'm worried about. Let's see what happens on the palate. dropper. Ooh. There's something solventy about this. I don't think I like this very much. Hold on, let me try again. For someone out there, this is going to be their rum. They're going to rock this and enjoy it. And if that's you, like, more power to you. I mean, it's not... If I analyze the flavors and just kind of throw them out there, what are you getting? You're getting, yeah, cinnamon. Quite a lot of flowers. There's some, like, citrus peel. Or pith, really, like lemon pith, lime pith. Not really a lot of fruitiness going on. Citrus. Little touches of fennel again. White pepper. That rock, kind of rocks and little slivers of, I don't know, copper pennies. And yeah, maybe some plantain in there. Someone is going to find this combination of flavors appealing. For me, that the combination of like the citrus pith and the flowers, particularly the flowers, just make this taste like a little bit like I'm drinking I don't know, some kind of cleaning product. That's kind of the vibe on this for me. In terms of the development, not much length in the mouth, not a whole lot of mouth feel to it. The finish is, I mean, it depends on your taste, on the way you're reading these flavors. For me, like a lot of the stuff I like is kind of on the arrival, and then it fades out, and we're just left with like kind of weird, acrid, bitter flowers and that kind of cinnamon amburana thing. Oh. Yeah, if this is your jam, more power to you. It's just not, I don't think I can do this. All right, let's move on though. I'm going to give it a few drops of water. We'll come back to it. So we're 0 for 1 at this point. But things might be about to improve because we're moving on to Richland Rum. Richland, I mean, it's certainly not like a big name in American rum production. It's certainly not up there with like Privateer or anything at all happening in Puerto Rico. But the folks in Brunswick have been at this for a long time. And this is their, this came out in 2020, and it's their 20th anniversary bottle. So you're talking about, they've been around for close to a quarter century now. This is cane syrup based, it's pot distilled. And what they've done with this is, again, it's their 20th anniversary, is they basically spent about a year prior to bottling this just going through their stocks, picking their 5 favorite barrels, which happened to average 7.5 years old, which is not, I mean, by spirit standards and even by rum standards, that ain't really old. By American rum standards, that is ancient. 7.5 years release. So bottle 2020. Anything else to say about it? I mean, it's going to be American oak, right? So yeah, I mean, Richland, again, not the biggest name, but I'm 2 for 2 at this point. Like, I really enjoyed their platinum unaged thing. I really enjoyed like a milk stout thing they put out, and I will probably link those out below. So I'm curious to see what good old-fashioned American oak can do after 7.5 years. Rich is the word for this. We are getting tons and tons of like Coca-Cola concentrate, like the syrup. But then, we're getting the Foursquare entire southern dessert cart coming out. So we are getting pineapple upside down cake. We are getting lane cake. We are getting a little bit of pecan pie, banana peel, vanilla. Obviously vanilla. Dark black pepper. There's some very like sweet tobacco-y elements in this, like almost like a stoved. It's like a blend of black Cavendish and maybe some Virginias. Something like that. Like really rich, sweet tobacco. Sweet tea, most definitely. It's now that I think about it, it's very appropriate that this is coming out of Georgia, right? Because it just smells like it's coming out of Georgia. It's got the dessert cart. It's got the sweet tea. But then you got a little touch of black licorice in there to remind you that this is a rum. Little hint of green olive, little bits and pieces of like now I'm getting a little bit of, well, no, it's not, I was going to say sea salt, but it's really more like the black licorice was kind of a salted licorice kind of thing. This is very good nose. I mean, it's very American, it's very rich, it's very shameless, but I mean, if you like that style, this is a great little nose. There's some dried cherry. It's like almost like a stewed peach thing. I mean, again, it's Georgia. Lots of fruit, lots of desserty stuff, lots of woody stuff. Like some fresh coffee grinds, like, I don't know, fresh Colombian coffee grinds. I could just keep naming notes, but they're all going to be along those same kinds of lines. This is very hedonistic rum, but it's got depth, it's got complexity to it. I'm super excited about this. 50% ABV. Let's see what happens on the palate. This is very, very good rum. This is very, very good rum. And I remember, they're not sourcing molasses or anything. This is all from, their own cane and stuff. Oh, man. The finish is holding on very nicely. What can I say? Foursquare fans, come on in the room, y'all. This is right down the center of that style. No, I'm going to back off a little bit. Foursquare tends to have these kinds of slightly almost rusty notes, which I think is coming from the column distillate. This doesn't really have that. This is cleaner in style. Again, what we're getting? Coca-Cola syrup, black pepper, sweet tea, lots of fun burn stuff, like a marshmallow that caught on fire. It's very, very fat. Not a ton of mouthling. I mean, it's got mouthling. It's getting back into my throat a little bit, but what's in terms of mouth presence, it's the feel that's really kind of cool about this. This is just kind of coating my mouth very impressively, and it's both kind of creamy and peppery at the same time. I'm drinking this, Jesus. Dried fruit character again. Dried peach. dried plantain. I think that exists, right? That has to exist. I never had it, but this would be what it tastes like. Cane syrup, sure. Yeah, there's some cane syrup in there. Orange, lime notes. Coffee notes, that kind of Colombian coffee grinds thing again. A little bit less desserty on the palate, but the desserty stuff is still there. More in the form of like, I don't know, yeah, definitely like lane cake. Almost like a coconut brownie kind of thing, like a vanilla coconut brownie, something like that. And yeah, the tobacco elements. Heading a little bit ways away from Virginia, as we're getting a little bit more of a like a natural leaf cigar kind of thing on the palate, but definitely tobacco driven too. And the fruit hangs on for a good long time in the finish. Like, and that's kind of what you want. You don't just want like oak, overstewed tea and tannins, then that being the only thing that hangs on through the finish. You want kind of other elements in there. There's a little bit of a floral thing too, which I was remiss to mention. Wasn't really that noticeable in the nose. No, it's kind of integrating with the Coca-Cola syrup thing, but on the palate it becomes more of an independent kind of like a couple of flowers thrown in there kind of thing. That's a darn good rum right there. Let's give that a squirt of water. We are 1 for 2. Excellent. Moving on to the Down Islands. Now, this is a distillery I know pretty much nothing about. Down Island, Paraguay. This is from Otisa Distillery, which is actually a sugar mill in southern Paraguay. And this was This is molasses based. It's column distilled. What kind of column? Is it a short column? Is it a big column? I don't know. But it was aged from January 2016 to January 2024. So it's about 8 years old. I don't know if it actually hit 8, but pretty darn close. And this is an ex-bourbon cask. Let's see what we got here. We're also getting a kind of cola thing on this one too, but it's more RC cola. And it's definitely a lot more like musty. Interesting. It's as if you are like enjoying a fine bottle of RC cola in like a musty cellar that's being used to store like old tires. That's kind of the vibe on this. Like there's RC cola, but there's also like lots of like tires and rubber and old stuff. And it's also like musty and kind of damp with lots of old wood around. It's a really delicate nose actually. Little hints of, I don't know, like banana peel. This is going to sound funny, but you know the little pumpkin candies? Not candy corn. The pumpkin candies have a different smell. They just do. Fight me. So yeah, pumpkin candies, but we're in that musty cellar and everything's kind of like covered in dirt. Certainly some black pepper. In some ways, I mean, nosing this puts me in mind of some of the more delicate Fijian rums, like the South Pacific distillery rums. It's a little bit more soft spoken than that, but we're in that same kind of territory, if that makes sense. Okay, all right, on the palate. Ooh. This is low key a little bit of a beast. Very, very like just take an old car tire and cover it in black pepper and eat it. Like that's kind of the mood here. But in a musty cellar, it's still got those kind of like musty, fungus, but not too bad kinds of notes and topsoil kinds of stuff. Yeah, this one for me is more of a palate kind of rum. Contrasting with the previous two, which I thought were a little bit better on the nose. Yeah, this just holds. Fennel, aniseed. It feels a little bit like I'm chewing on a damp piece of wood, but like really enjoying it. Like the most delicious damp piece of wood you can imagine. Pu'er tea, like really earthy, grungy tea. A little bit of that RC Cola thing again, but this is very austere and serious and dark. Lightly floral. And there's a little bit of like just like a rotten thing going. I don't know how else to describe it. Like yeah, almost like that chunk of wood you're chewing on is a little bit rotten and has some like little mushrooms and stuff growing out of it. I mean, if it were like any louder than it is, I would be tempted to call it a flaw. Like maybe it's just something from the bung or something like that. But in this context, it seems kind of fine. Yeah, it's just it. If it were more, we would start to sort of get in the direction of like the kind of rotting newspaper thing you get with like corked wines, but it's not that bad. It's more subtle than that. And it's just kind of in this context, it feels like it's adding color. This is a fun flight already because we've already got like 2 rums that I feel would be super duper divisive. I could see certain people like really loving this Paraguay because it's just so dirty and kind of grungy. But I can also see a lot of people just put off by that sense of rot. Interesting. I want to see what it does with water. Give me a second. 2, 3, 4, 5. At least 5, right? What I'd like to see is a little bit of sweetness coming out. Just something to lift the austerity a little bit. All right, let's move on to our last little sampley bottle. And we're going to Africa. This is Down Island, Ghana, 2020. And this is from the Mim, I don't know what they are. It's distillery, yeah, but like estate. I've actually reviewed the unaged version of these folks' rum in the past, and I liked it, as I recall. It's interesting. I think... Oh, what do they mostly grow? I think it's pecans. They mostly make like pecan spirit. I think I'll have to look on that. It's like one of those fruits that we usually think of for nuts, but it's actually also like fruit, and you can ferment and distill it. Anyways, so this is from Mim in Ghana, pot-distilled cane juice. It's no precise dates on bottling, but yeah, distilled 2020 and bottled 2024, and it's an ex-bourbon cask again. And I'm getting American oak. Vanilla, white pepper, a little bit of sawdust coming around. but the spirit is still kind of carrying through. There's some like mixed olives, some pickle juice. A little bit of like pickled ginger actually happening. I mean, in some ways, I hope this isn't too mean. What the heck is the name of it? The Louisiana, the New Orleans rums I just reviewed a few weeks ago. Some of the aged ones were, the cane juice ones were not what I was hoping for. This is kind of what I was hoping for. Like, there's a heck of a lot of oak on this. Damn, what are the... I'll link it below. There's a lot of oak on this. There's a lot of vanilla on this, but man, like the cane juice is just creeping through. Yeah, there's a little bit of like a fried green tomato thing happening. Black licorice. Lots of like weird mutant flowers. Sea salt. Yeah, I love it. All right. There's more little things going on in here, but that's the main core of this. You're getting a very savory cane juice rum, which is kind of starting to reassert itself against those kind of bully-like American oak casks. And it works. Sometimes it just takes 4 years to get these things to work on the palate. Holy crap. Ladies and gentlemen, dear viewers of this video, I have a bias. Let me explain my bias. My bias is against cane juice spirits aged in American oak, because I feel like my expectation is they're just going to taste like bourbon. Like the oak is just going to swamp them, and they're not going to be that interesting, and I'm not going to enjoy them. This is awesome. This is really darn good. I'm not sure if that's just because the influence of the oak has been pretty limited. I mean, that's a reasonably light color. This is gorgeous. Hold on. Oh man. It's just like this laser beam, not laser beam, like space battleship Yamato main gun of like black licorice firing inside of my mouth. But like alongside that is like, yeah, like vanilla pods, some sawdust, some, pickled ginger again, olives. Oh, I love the salted licorice on this. In some ways this rum is very savory and grungy too, but the sense of salted licorice is just so pure and beautiful. Oh, but yeah, along the side, minerality, to continue my description. The fried green tomato thing, the pickle juice thing, the mixed mutant flowers, some pop rocks, a little hint of like just chewing gum, just good old-fashioned chewing gum. And like for something so young, the mouth presence is just amazing. Like covers the entire palate, back way into the back of my mouth, and just holds and holds and holds there. And it's not just the tannins, although there's a little grip on this guy. It's the fruit and the licorice. You have to like black licorice to be into this spirit. Well, it's more of a sweeter style of salted black licorice, but it's, that's where we are. I kind of thought after I had it that the Richmond would be running away with this flight, and no, like the Ghana is stepping up. The Paraguay is kind of the dark horse here, but the Ghana is like, no, 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 Richmond, no, 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 Georgia, Richland, sorry. We're gonna have to share this stage. We are going all 12 rounds, baby. Could I ask for a hair bit more concentration, complexity on this? Maybe, sure, but I don't care. I'm really enjoying it right now. Let's see what water does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, Ghana. Breaking the streak of slightly disappointing American oak aged cane juice spirits. Okay, although no, the Kalhana did that too. So maybe I shouldn't talk. Maybe I should just get over it. All right, moving on. We're gonna restart our flight, going back to the Nosa, which I kind of feel bad for this rum now, because it's going up against some heavyweights here. On the nose, it smells like a cinnamony dryer sheet, but in a good way. The nose is growing on me. It's very floral. It's really intense with the tropical fruit thing. The cinnamon is just obnoxious, but I'm starting to not hate it. I didn't hate it before, but I didn't like it much. Sorry, there's all kinds of yard work going on outside. A little earlier, there was something that sounded like a swarm of angry hornets. I had to hold off recording until that was gone. Yeah, not really much development in the nose. Maybe a hair bit more of that kind of floral dryer sheet thing. No, on the palate. Come on. Oh, it didn't like that. Normally, if I try something again and it seems like thinner, I have to wonder, is it these 62% monsters that just kind of deadened my palate off? But I don't think that's what happened. I think water just kind of made this fall apart a little bit. Which, I mean, it's 40%, so that's not unusual, but it's an unusual profile. Yeah, that weird acrid cleaning product thing, like a cleaning product made of tropical fruit and flowers and cinnamon. It's someone's rum, and if it's your rum, like, God bless you. Like, you hold on to that, onto your Nossa Cachaça truth. But for me, decent arrival, interesting arrival, and then it just kind of gets worse and worse as the development goes on. Score wise, God, what do I give this? I'm gonna give this. The nose is okay. The nose is fun. Like, it has character. I'm gonna call this like a 76 question mark. And yeah, we're gonna move on. Sorry, Nosa. Sorry, Brazil. Send more better things up here, and I will start giving them higher scores. All right, moving on to the Richland 20th anniversary. In terms of what's winning, I think it's going to be between this and the Ghana. And I have no idea which runs away with this. Oh, God. It's just, yeah, so you're getting some that Coke syrup thing, but it's almost as if you put some cherry Coke syrup in along with it. Like the cherry is really stepping up now. Yeah, cherry Coke, but also like some maraschino cherry coming in now. It's so like rich and desserty, and then you got little bits of complexity, the minerality, the tobacco element. Yeah, this is. I mean, it's probably the most expensive bottle here. I think this was. I think this is no longer on sale, but I think it was around $120, something like that, when it was on sale. But I mean that is Foursquare ECS pricing, but in terms of style, in terms of quality, you're not that far away. So the palate wasn't a slouch before, but it was probably the weaker part of this. Now it's starting to step up a little bit. Like the mouthfeel just turned it up about 2 steps. Finish is maybe a hair bit better too, but it's mainly the mouthfeel. It just feels like now it's like just coating my mouth even more with like creamy, delicious dessertiness and pepperiness at the same time. This is a very, very good rum. What do I do with the score-wise? I can't make it to 90. We're starting to leave the mid-80s. Does it have the complexity to get like an 89? I was on like an 87 plus for a second, but it deserves better than that. I'm going to give this a full 88. I think just the improvement on the palate from adding water gets us a full extra point. I'm going to give this 88 points. That is a darn good rum. And I am well impressed. Richland is now 3 for 3 for me. They are one of the best rum producers in the country. Fight me. All right. Moving on now to the Paraguay. This is the interesting one because it was very weird and austere the first time through. But if we can deliver more complexity and more deliciousness factor, then this could be a real play. All right, on the nose. It smells exactly the same. It still smells like drinking RC Cola in a musty cellar while someone is throwing, old tires at you. And I'm okay with that. Like, I enjoyed that note before, and I still like it now. On the palate. It did not like the water on the palate. Or put it this way, in some ways, like this, it feels a little bit fatter on the palate now, but the water has also brought up that slightly rotty, like almost TCA corked wine sort of note. That's starting to come out a little bit more, and I don't think this is the better for it. Damn. I was really hoping this one would step up for me, and it just isn't. It's still pretty good. It's still pretty good, and it's always going to be a divisive rum, but for some people, they're really going to dig this, and I'm going to give it. I'll call it an 85 minus. 85 minus. There's something to this. There's something interesting going on here, but yeah, there's too much holding it back for me to score it any higher than that. All right, moving on to the Ghana. And now it is a death battle between this Richland and this Ghana. On the nose. Well, I was going to say that it really brought out the American oak a little bit more, and maybe to the point that it was starting to mute some of those cane juice rum characters. No, but it's still there. You're getting a little bit more of a dose of vanilla ice cream, but if you're paying attention, like all those cane juicy, psychedelic rum notes are still there playing in the background. With a little bit more black licorice now as well. I like this rum. I really like this rum. I'm hoping it's good on the palate. Here we go. This is good. This is a absolutely delicious rum. It's phenomenal. I still love that just like fire hose full of like salted licorice, but also vanilla ice cream now, like just shooting into my mouth. In terms of development, it's a little bit more spicy, a little bit more peppery at this point. Finish might be a hair bit longer, but it's really like, yeah, it feels like the mouthfeel is just a little bit more aggro. I mean, between this and the Richland, I mean, this is personal preference. I mean, this is brighter, and I mean, they're both. Let me step back. Both of these rums, the Richland and the Ghana, are just showcases of what cane spirit can do in American oak. This is thicker, it's denser. I'm sorry, the Richland is thicker and denser and darker and more kind of decadent and dessert cardy. This Ghana is brighter and kind of a little bit more savory. It's got some candied characteristics, but it's like savory candy, if that makes sense, herbaceous candy, spicy candy. I did not go into this expecting this to be this good. I had some suspicions about the Richland. Let me try the Richland one again one more time. I think the Richland takes it. I think it just by a little bit, just by the tiniest margin. These are both really good. I mean, yeah, I'll give the Ghana like an 87 plus. Like, this is really darn close, and it's really darn good. And by the way, you can still buy it, and it's less expensive than the Richland was. But, yeah, so the Richland comes ahead by a little bit. But yeah, I did not expect the... Okay, so here's your lineup. In some parts of this I expected, in some parts didn't. In last place, with a score of 76 question mark, is the Nossa Cachaça. Next up, someone will like both of these rums a lot. Someone out there. But in second place, anyway, in third place is the Paraguay Down Island, which just has some off notes to it. It's got that kind of fusty, roddy TCA kind of thing going on. 85 minus. And then, yeah, you've got your two headliners. Both of which I didn't expect to be as good as they were, but especially the Ghana. 87 plus for the Ghana. Like, this is how you do cane juice rum aged in American oak. You could even keep it in there longer than this, just to develop some complex tertiary characteristics. But this is delicious as is. 87 points. And Richland Rum, 20th anniversary. One of the best American rums I've ever had. This is terrific stuff. Yeah. Is it Foursquare? Not yet. Not quite. But we're getting there. We really are. And that's the video, I guess. Thanks for watching, and cheers.